At last, the extraordinary continuation of our past rundown on stunts for affecting individuals. As in the past, nothing here is intended to be negative, or to in any capacity bring down somebody's confidence, question their own world, or anything of the sort. Such procedures don't give you genuine impact over anybody, they simply hurt effectively weak individuals. Like the last one, we will talk about in this article how you can impact individuals in basic, yet inconspicuous ways, while as yet being thoughtful and improving the world a spot generally speaking. Food. Glorious food. Truth. Use people's hunger to your advantage. It affects their decision-making. At the University of the Negev in Israel back in 2011, scientist Shai Danziger and his group experienced above and beyond 1,000 parole board cases over a multi-month time frame. Their examination was extensive as it included 40% of the whole nation's parole load-up solicitations throughout that time span, and the adjudicators had a normal encounter of around 22 years each on the seat. What the scientists discovered was that the appointed authorities settled on more pleasant choices the nearer it was to the last time that they had eaten. Toward the beginning of the day, almost immediately, the possibility of a parole hearing being effective for the potential parolee was about 65% and went down from there. Afternoon, however, it returned up to about 65%, and afterward began to slide down once more. The analysts disposed of a great deal of different factors, and are persuaded that even adjudicators are inclined to oblivious components like that influence their dynamic regardless of how experienced they are. They accept that as the appointed authorities lose fuel, they run out of as much caloric energy, and settle on snappier choices without intuition as much about the subtleties. Furthermore, since parolees can be especially perilous, this implies a snappy choice normally prompts them deciding in favor of alert, and denying delivering the detainee. This doesn't really mean individuals are bound to settle on more pleasant choices when they are full, yet rather that they are bound to focus on detail, and take as much time as is needed, rather than making a snap judgment that is as protected as possible. Sustain themselves once more. Sharp rhetoric. Truth. Answer people's rhetoric or unfinished sentences in ways that shape the conversation. Sometimes public will utilize an expository gadget where they leave an idea open-finished, yet clearly implied and anticipated a particular answer. Maybe they are going to say something that especially irritates them, and in the event that they know the individual well, they regularly find the solution they look for. Nonetheless, some of the time the explanatory gadget is replied by something surprising, and they are left embarrassingly attempting to say, "Indeed, that as well, yet the thing I was discussing was X." This can be abnormal for the two players included, and can cause them to feel like possibly they ought to have quite recently been more explicit regardless. Notwithstanding, on the off chance that you are endeavoring to impact somebody, you can utilize this as a chance. When they leave things open-finished, you can likewise hop in on the off chance that they leave a sentence incomplete as a logical gadget. You would now be able to drop in something you might want them to consider, or accept, such that causes it to appear as though an obvious end result to what they said, practically like it came from their mouth. Furthermore, as long as you just do it after an inadequate expository gadget, you can't actually be viewed as hindering or discourteous, and they have no chance to get of realizing you deliberately picked an unexpected attach in comparison to they anticipated. Care. Say that multiple times quick. Certainty. When someone uses strategic incompetence, offer to teach them. Be overly solicitous in the advanced world. In spite of the fact that it presumably had old reciprocals, there is a conduct that has been depicted as essential ineptitude. Generally, when it comes time to accomplish something unsavory that the individual loathes, they guarantee that they are incredibly awful at it, and that truly, it would be best that another person do it rather, as they would simply wreck it. What's more, they truly don't have a clue what they are doing at any rate, and it would be excessively difficult to learn. This will frequently concoct things like dishes, or clothing and such. Rather than attempting to drive somebody, or get in their face about it, act like you comprehend the issue, and you are attempting to fix it. The issue, obviously, is that they don't have the foggiest idea how to do it, so offer to show them, and in the event that they demonstration like that is excessively hard, begin revealing to them how to do it, bit by bit, and overdo it maybe a little by discussing how hard it was for you from the outset, however how you at last got it, and that it isn't actually that hard eventually. Without a doubt, they might need to make it stop. Applause people. Truth. Praise them for who you want them to be, and the attributes you want from them. One of the main things in affecting individuals is to be positive, and urge individuals to be simply the best form. Presently, this doesn't mean you ought to really lie. Try not to adulate somebody for something they haven't really done, or great conduct they don't really show. What's more, in the event that you lay things on excessively thick, you might be excessively evident and rapidly waste time quick. All things being equal, this is something you must be in for the long stretch. Overlook negative explanations and activities at whatever point they are adequately little to let slide. Notwithstanding, recognize all practices that are deliberately sure ascribes and activities with respect to the individual in question. Don't anticipate that should change excessively snappy, yet center around the positive stuff you need to see. It could begin little, over the long haul, however on the off chance that they persistently feel strengthened for being benevolent, reliable, liberal, and each one of those other beneficial things, they will feel more craving to keep doing as such, and less longing to act in a negative manner. Regardless, people are exceptionally social animals and we hunger for consideration. In the event that terrible conduct isn't getting any oxygen, it frequently doesn't have the solidarity to proceed. Simply work to light a little fire, and keep it lit from the start. At that point work gradually on developing it after some time. Sit idle. It's everything. Truth, sometimes, doing absolutely nothing is the best way to influence someone. This obliges something we kinda discussed above, and that is the manner by which some of the time you need to simply disregard things, or do nothing by any stretch of the imagination. Presently, on the off chance that somebody says or plans something terrible enough for you or others, you regularly need to simply confront it. Nonetheless, in the event that somebody is simply doing little things that aren't especially certain, particularly on the off chance that they aren't especially ongoing in nature, at times overlooking the awful and not giving them that consideration they look for can have a major effect. Now and again individuals who are being antagonistic are truly shouting out for consideration, and you should not offer it to them as such, or it fortifies some unacceptable conduct and shows some unacceptable lessons. Sometimes these individuals may discover little revenue in you in the event that you will not give them the consideration they look for their negative conduct, yet that simply implies even more that you should not allow them to gain proficiency with some unacceptable thing. In the event that enough individuals just quit reacting to antagonistic conduct, or trying to revive companionships with the individuals who carry on in a pessimistic way, the individual has the most obvious opportunity with regards to understanding that they are not being on the whole correct to other people, and they need to reevaluate their conduct. Giving individuals chances when you shouldn't, and blowing up or effectively captivating a lot with pessimism will frequently cut you down, and make the individual who is being heartless figure they can simply keep on how they have been. Once in a while, doing nothing is the hardest thing of all, however there are times when it is the best move to make. Open up. Certainty, if you want people to open up to you, strategically open up about yourself. Getting another person to open up to you can be very hard. A few people can know you for quite a long time and never truly open up that profoundly. At that point, at some point, for reasons unknown, some detail comes out and you sense that you barely even realized them in the first place. This is on the grounds that individuals experience a great deal of things throughout everyday life, and numerous individuals have had horrendous or troublesome encounters. These things can make them truly helpless, and now and again in any event, pondering them can return horrible passionate injuries, and upset individuals of a typically solid mental constitution. Hence, individuals can be truly cut off, even those you thought were more open. However, this doesn't mean individuals are a shut book. While this requires some give and take, and some weakness on your part, the best stunt to get the more profound subtleties and comprehension about an individual's life, is to share more about yourself. In the event that you will make yourself helpless, and share your hardest and most obscure encounters, you will find that others are more happy with feeling free to free their weaknesses up to you. Enthusiastic stories and encounters can be something that somebody can use against you, so by first indicating you confide in them, and will remove your protection first, you can have a major effect in getting the most shut individuals to reveal to you things about themselves you never figured you would escape them. Mimicry works. Truth, make them think your thought process is similar, they will trust your ideas more. There are two stunts in one here. In the first place, the main method to do this is to be an attentive person, and it is perhaps the most ideal approaches to impact individuals. On the off chance that you in a real sense tune in to what they need to say, and effectively react to what they said with something other than a or goodness, no doubt, right, at that point individuals will truly feel like they are interfacing with you. When they do feel like they are really being focused on, you can utilize this next stunt, which helps overcome that issue significantly further between two people. Presently, we need to be clear we aren't proposing you change your perspective for anybody, or imagine it is distinctive just to deceive somebody. All things considered, what we are recommending is searching for shared view in the manner another person thinks, and perceive how you can underscore this. Obviously, individuals will in general confide in their own reasoning, so they are bound to confide in somebody who thinks likewise to how they do. Thus, you should simply be an attentive person, and search for minutes where you can bring up how your manner of thinking is like theirs by normally captivating in the discussion such that features your equivalence with them. The more you do this over the long run, the more they will feel you are somebody significantly more like them, and this implies your recommendations to them about existence, the universe and everything, will have much more weight to them in their brain. Question, question, question. Truth: if you are trying to disprove something, ask lots of questions. Say it's for clarification. One botch individuals make continually when attempting to contend anything with anybody is they really attempt to contend. This promptly puts a great many people on edge, and this thus makes them substantially less prone to fundamentally tune in to what you need to say to them. Rather than being angry, and attempting to contend back your point, or differ straightforwardly with what they say, become the expert of asking, explaining questions. Ask them bunches of inquiries about the point they are making, however attempt to make it sound like you simply need to see better, dislike you are attempting to demonstrate them wrong. If their position is genuinely not sound, and they are not a completely difficult and miserable individual, and they are sufficiently keen to suss it out given sufficient opportunity, posing explaining inquiries might not have a prompt impact, in spite of the fact that it may, yet it will help them question their position, and really go over why it truly doesn't bode well, without them feeling like you were attempting to put them down, assault them, or beat them in some alternate way. Particularly with men, these methods can be helpful, as guys put significantly a greater amount of an accentuation on pride, and will frequently come to the heart of the matter of hard head when tested, despite the fact that when held up to the amplifying glass, they would regularly be adequately keen to see that their thought or contention basically didn't hold any water. Delicate influence. Actuality: remember that you cannot change anyone, you can only slightly influence their decisions. While we referenced how you can gradually impact somebody to be somewhat more certain over the long run, truly generally you won't transform anybody. Individuals are unfathomably muddled, and all have their own special encounters and their own interesting perspectives, developed over long stretches of human communications and learning a wide range of things, at times marginally or generally uniquely in contrast to you learn them. Also, when they are a grown-up, they are generally who they will be, accepting some significant life revelation, or taking a gravely required prescription or something of that sort, and in the event that they have some revelation, or acknowledge they required some sort of medication, or reach the resolution that they need to transform, it in all likelihood isn't on the grounds that you intimidate or fooled them into it. However long somebody isn't really harmful, yet has flaws like most of us, we aren't saying their shortcomings can't be gradually improved over the long haul, yet don't anticipate restoring them of them totally. All things being equal, simply center around gradually affecting their choices to improve things. The more sure, kind and mindful choices they make, the better an individual they will be over the long haul. They will in any case on a very basic level be them. However, and in the event that you need to be companions or sentimental accomplices, the main thing you can do is acknowledge that individual as somebody uncommon in your life, and appreciate all the positive things about your fellowship and praise why you do appreciate being around them. Be positive. Actuality: positivity is most important. Those who feel you like and will want to do things for you, the most significant thing you can do to impact those near you, or get them to get things done for you, is to genuinely be their companion. What's more, the main piece of being a companion is basically loving the other individual, being thoughtful and investing energy interfacing with them somehow or another, and being there for them when they need it. Try not to be a companion since it was a fellowship of comfort, when there isn't anything there. Be companions with individuals you genuinely, really appreciate being near. On the off chance that you can genuinely say that regardless of what deficiencies they have, generally speaking you appreciate being around them and think them a decent individual, show it with your activities, words and each alternate way you show your love. We aren't saying you ought to actually be a mat, simply be an ordinary, kind individual, regard your companions, and be companions with those you normally like, and for whom it effectively shows. On the off chance that an individual trusts you really like and care about them, that makes you substantially more critical to them, and it makes them like you all the more as well. This makes them more probable than anything to think of you as compelling in their life, and think about your recommendation. Eventually, it is all give and take. On the off chance that individuals feel you are more put resources into them, they will feel more put resources into you, and you have a twisting of fellowship, regard and shared trust. You're really great.